All right, now I'm joined by my friend Eric Callison. He is down in Florida, I believe, down for spring training, down to watching the St. Louis Cardinals and a couple of other teams, as I've seen on his Twitter account. How you doing, man?
Hey, pretty good. Thanks for having me back again this week.
Awesome. Yeah, Kyle is still on the road for work, so it's kind of boring at home, and, it's always nice to have some sort of idea of what to do for the show. So,
Sure.
Yeah, my first question is obviously, how's it been? What's the team look like right now? How you feeling?
Well, it's great getting out of winter in Illinois. Kyle, I think he's in Minnesota or something like that.
Yeah,
That's,
Kyle's actually
Florida,
in Minnesota,
however.
and I just saw him send me a Snapchat yesterday or a couple days ago. It was 7 feet of snow or whatever like that, or 7 inches, not 7 feet. That's a lot of snow.
Well, it's a mild 68 right here in Orlando. We're catching a flight back to St. Louis tomorrow. But yeah, we came down and saw the Cardinals and the Mets play yesterday. We saw the Nationals and the Astros play 2 days ago. So a couple fun games of spring training, and it's just been a pretty good time in Florida. So Cardinals, they played good in their game yesterday. I have some concerns about them going into the season, but their starting lineup can compete with anybody top to bottom in the National League. It's the depth that I'm worried about, as I'm sure we'll probably go into later. But it's been fun to see these 4 teams play and just kind of be out of Illinois and be back watching competitive baseball.
Right. I think one thing Cardinal fans are questioning for sure is maybe getting guys on base. So that's why they signed Dexter Fowler to begin with. Because last year it was weird. They were one of the better home run hitting teams, and in my view, they've never been that type of team. They've always been a team that's been able to just manufacture runs and stuff like that. So coming off that from last year, do you still see issues with that, or do you think Dexter Fowler will be enough for them to be able to manufacture more runs?
Yeah, I think Dexter Fowler and Matt Carpenter at the top of the lineup, both of those guys will push 400 on base percentages. So it's what the rest of the team can do around them. And when you have Yadier Molina second in steals, which I believe he was second in steals last year on the Cardinals, I'm not someone who believes that a team should be stealing bases like crazy. But you can't have Yadi be second on the team in steals. You have to manufacture some runs on the base paths, and so having maybe Colton Wong, if he can come back and be halfway decent and get double-digit steals, have Fowler get some steals, maybe have Carpenter push the bag with some double steals. If we get Dexter Fowler on and then Carpenter draws a walk, and however we do that, because Carpenter will be hitting out of the 3-hole, but something like that. If we get some double steals going, so that'd be something I'd look for out of the Cardinals going this year. I don't know how much Matheny's going to want to steal. He's still a relatively young manager, but yeah, I totally agree with you on that. It'll just be interesting to see how much more of an emphasis the Cardinals put on taking walks and getting on base. But you're totally right. That's the key to this team, and Fowler is going to be a big part of that.
Right. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's kind of well known here in Peoria since the Cardinals single A affiliates here. It's your future catcher, I believe. And can you by chance give me that name, because it's not ringing on the top of my head at the moment?
Carson Kelly?
Yeah, Carson Kelly. There you go. It was like Carson something, but I didn't want to say the wrong name.
Sure.
How has he looked? Are they thinking that he could possibly make the jump this year, or maybe?
So it sounded like he's going to play backup to Fry. He'd be the third catcher, so it doesn't sound like he's going to break with the team. Sounds like Eric Fryer, who he was originally with the Cardinals last year. He ended up being released and going to the Pirates and actually playing really well. And Fryer's actually started out pretty well this spring. I saw on the telecast on Sunday, he hit a pretty good triple. And he's just someone who gets on base. He hits for gap power. He's not going to be a home run hitter. But Eric Fryer's pretty good. But Carson Kelly is the future catcher of the Cardinals. And there's question of maybe, how long Yadi will be around in St. Louis, if it'll be Carson Kelly in the future, 2-3 years down the road. But yeah, Kelly's pretty good, but I don't think he breaks camp with the team.
No. Okay. One question that Kyle sent me that he wanted me to ask you is just some of your thoughts on how the injuries will affect the team. Especially, I mean, last week we talked about Alex Reyes, and I remember
Sure.
you mentioned Luke Weaver had to leave the game the other day, and that's another big pitching prospect for them. So, how are these early season injuries going to affect them early on?
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, like I said in my opening statement kind of about the Cardinals, is that they're going to be one of those teams that they're top to bottom, 1 through 9, can compete with anybody. But when you get into that bench depth, you kind of have to be concerned about, where we stack up against the rest of the league. We're not pulling top talent off of our bench. We don't have the backups at AAA to be called up. And, you're going to be using 25 to 30 pitchers throughout the course of the season. And I'm kind of worried about what we have at AAA. So when you start getting those injuries, we kind of just have to hope that it's more, short-term injuries as opposed to these Tommy John or, exploding elbows, whatever you want to call them. Whatever you want to call them. I was kind of the grim reaper of this spring training. I saw Luke Weaver leave the game yesterday. I saw Will Harris of the Astros leave on Tuesday with a groin injury. So everywhere I went, it was kind of injuries to players that teams really need, because I have a feeling Weaver will be kind of the first guy called up from AAA for the Cardinals. I don't think he breaks camp with the team, but he'll be the first guy called up. There's a chance, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, I got a few more questions for you. Like I said, Kyle, he wanted your early season predictions. I guess one would be, how many wins do you think the Cardinals have at the All-Star break, and maybe a breakout player that maybe some people are sleeping on?
So I guess maybe not the All-Star break. The All-Star break's kind of hard to do because it's a little past halfway. Yeah, right. I think the Cardinals will kind of be at 45 wins halfway through, so maybe 52, 53 wins at the All-Star break or so. And then, I'm still thinking 88 to 90 wins, somewhere in that range for the Cardinals. Breakout player this year, I don't know if it's too strong of a player to say. I really like Bryce Harper to bounce back. I watched him play on Tuesday, and the ball was just exploding off of his bat. He took the ball the other way with it. He didn't go for a home run, but he took the ball the other way with it. I mean, he went for another hit for a double into the gap. So I mean, he was just having a really good game. On the same team, the Washington Nationals looked really good. Trey Turner hit 3 line drives. They all went to fielders, but they could have easily, if they had just been, 15 feet in any other direction, they would have went for a double or a triple with his speed. I really like Trey Turner, and I just think the Nationals are going to be really good this year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the Nationals, they were in the running for Chris Sale and a bunch of other players, and every team wanted Trey Turner, and they just would not give him up for anything, and then they made that Adam Eaton trade too. So they're definitely going all in this year. So I expect them to be near the top of the National League
I think Eaton was batting 7th or 8th on Tuesday in a spring training game, which I think is crazy.
Right. Considering he was batting leadoff last year.
Right, and Anthony Rendon came in off the bench. And I know these are spring training games, and you don't look into these kind of things, but he came in. Rendon came in off the bench, and a couple of years ago he was starting. So I really like their chances this year to go deep into the playoffs.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask you one more question before I let you go, Eric. I had to ask you, because me and Kyle are going to talk a little football in our next segment. What are your thoughts on where Adrian Peterson might possibly go?
Well, I think you got to think the Texans as a good spot. They've got some cash to spend. The people are talking Patriots. I think the Packers would be another good fit. There's so many good places. Gosh, that's a great question. With him, I'll probably say the Packers. He knows the division, he knows the teams, he's comfortable with that, so I'm going to go Packers.
Okay. Well, I've been thinking Giants or Packers as well. And that'll just make that rivalry even better if he goes to the Packers. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll see how it goes. Once again, thanks for calling in, and enjoy Florida. And yeah, man, bring the warmth back, man. It was like 60 degrees yesterday. We had a tornado go through, and now it's like 30 degrees. So it's classic Illinois weather.
Yeah, typical. So, all right, man. We'll take it easy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. See you, bro.